Hello and welcome to another episode of Mac Minute. Last week we showed you how to connect to a Mac that was sharing or had public folders, and it's very simple to do. This week we want to show you how you can set up that sharing so that other machines can connect to your machine. And again, that's also very simple, but one of the things I want to talk about before we show you this is think about what you're opening up to other people. If it's something you don't want to share, make sure it's not going to be shared, because this can open up to anybody on your network. Somebody, even if your Wi-Fi is open. Now, we talked about before in previous episodes about securing your router, to go watch Security 101 if your router isn't secured. And if your router isn't secured and you do this share, or it's shared and you go into a hotel that has like a public Wi-Fi or a McDonald's or a Starbucks, there's a strong possibility somebody can get your information. So be very careful what you're sharing with this. But it is very simple and it's very powerful if you are careful with it. So to do this, we're going to go up to the Apple menu, and we're going to go to System Preferences, and we're going to come down to Sharing, which is right here. It's under Internet and Wireless. Click on Sharing, and you see all these options you can share. We have screen sharing, file sharing, printer sharing, scanner sharing, remote login, remote management, remote Apple events, internet sharing, and Bluetooth sharing. So let's talk about some of these. Screen sharing is what I did last week when I took over the other Mac. So that is generally not very dangerous as long as you limit it to who has access to it. See right here you see only administrators have access to screen sharing. So if somebody tries to connect to your machine, they have to know your administrator information to be able to do it. So what you don't want to do is this, all users. That is very, very dangerous. You walk into that McDonald's and somebody's on another Mac, they're going to see it show up on the screen. They could just click one button and be on your machine, take it over your machine. So in this particular Mac, I don't have screen sharing turned on. So I don't generally go that direction. I generally go out of this machine. So, all right, so we go look at file sharing. Here's another one. And again, you can share particular folders. So I have my folder, my public folder shared, and only everyone can read it, and so can the users or staff, which is one of the default groups. And then I can read and write to it. Now, I don't put anything in this folder. This folder is actually empty on this machine. I do sometimes drop things in there for other people, but recently I've been using AirDrop versus doing this. But as long as you keep the folder empty, it's not that big of a deal, probably. All right, so here's printer sharing. So if you have a printer on your network and it's attached to another Mac, or the Mac that we're on, and you want to share it with other computers, you click this printer sharing, just like this, and you select the printer, and you can also specify who can do this. So everyone in this case can print, or you can say certain people don't have access to it as well. And there's print and scan preferences. That's actually another part of the system preferences that we're not going to go through. But I'm going to go ahead and turn printer sharing off because I share other printers, not from here. Now, I can't say I've ever used this, but it's a very neat idea. You can share scanners. So I don't know how that would work if you have a scanner that requires human intervention. Again, I never tried that. So here we have remote login. So we want to talk about why this is different than screen sharing. Screen sharing, you actually see the screen. Remote login is an SSH connection, this basically gives you the console or the Unix command prompt remotely on your Mac. From somebody can get remotely to your Mac using the command line. And command line is very powerful. It basically is the root of the machine. So I definitely do not recommend you turn this on unless you know what you're doing. If the device travels outside of your network, then I do not recommend you turn this on. I can't think of any reason where you ever really want to either. And if you ever get a call from somebody saying they want you to turn it on so they can work on your machine because something's wrong, they're wrong. Don't do it that way. All right, so remote management allows other users to access the computer using Apple Remote Desktop, which is yet another way to access the computer remotely. It's another tool people can download. I believe it's still free, and it's kind of like Windows Remote Desktop, but it's for Mac. Again, I think screen sharing is probably the better option for that. Remote Apple Events allows it to work with other computers on the network to send events like work events. I can't say I've ever used this, but I understand the concept behind it. Basically allows other computers to send your machine work or tasks to do. And then there's internet sharing. So if you are in a home and you have a cable or DSL modem connected directly to your Mac and you want to be able to share that with other computers on your network, you can turn this on and it'll allow other computers to connect via your Thunderbolt or Wi-Fi, anything, any kind of network you're having, including Bluetooth if you actually want to as well. And then there's Bluetooth sharing, and if you've heard any of the scare things about Bluetooth on your cell phone, it's probably something you don't want to do. Most laptops these days, and I believe even the iMacs, have Bluetooth built into them. Actually, I know the Mac Pros do too. My Mac Pro has one built in for the mouse, so you can share things via Bluetooth as well if you really want to. Not that I would recommend that you share through Bluetooth. All right, that's it for Mac Minute this week. We'll see you next week. For show notes for this show, contacts, and more, go to the techzen.tv website where you can get show notes for all of our shows. We love to hear from our viewers and listeners. We have an email, a Twitter, and a phone number where you can contact us for each show. For details, visit the techzen.tv website and get the show details. You can also make a video and upload it somewhere like YouTube or Vimeo, and then just send us a link. You never know, you may see your video in a future show. You can get all of our shows delivered automatically to your favorite device by going to your favorite podcast website like iTunes and subscribing. Each of our shows also has a YouTube channel you can subscribe to get regular updates. Our shows are also available on most internet radio networks like Stitcher and TuneIn Radio. You can also watch and listen to our shows on Xbox, TiVo, and Roku. You can even find us on your Zune.